Does any part of you want, a little revenge, if that's the right word, or anything like that?
Of course. Why not? But I'm not going to go into the game pressing. Just going to let the game come to me. Whatever plays I make, make the best of it.
Good morning. We're very pleased with the way our guys played and came together in week one. There's always a lot of unknowns. And the things that are concerns, can your players adjust to the speed of the game? How do they execute the plan? Their conditioning in those games, and everything was really strong. Our veteran players and our coaching staff, were really good in this first game. But aside from that, we got to move on to our next challenge, and a totally different group of challenges. This new opponent here, Philadelphia, is led by a quarterback, dual threat player, and it'll take a full week of preparation to get ready to challenge this offense. They have a great rushing attack. They led the league last year, so that's really where their game starts.
Yeah, what would you see from Jalen Hurts specifically with how he led that run game?
Yeah, he's more comfortable this year with the system, and they are very good with the system. It's well coached. They present a lot of problems and challenges. They make you attack the entire field. They've added weapons to his attack. They're very strong at tight end. Now they have receivers on both sides with Smith and A.J. Brown. And he had a big game, but they're both very dangerous.
How do you limit a guy like that? Do you have to spy him?
It takes a combination. If you do any one thing all the time, they will catch on to it. But we'll have to be smart with our rush lanes and our attack, and we'll have a variety of ways to rush them.
When it comes to that specific problem, how important is it to be versatile in the types of fronts that you can deploy when you go from a quarterback like Rodgers one week to Hurts the next week?
Yeah, we're a multiple front team just starting out, so we have these things available to us. It's just we have to adjust them in a different manner here. This is different. The keys that they get initially, the first second of the down, is different in a game like this.
I'm sure it's always important to communicate in coverage, but when you have a quarterback of Jalen Hurts who is a dual threat guy, how important is communication on the back end in coverage with all that, I guess, Jalen presents and that receiving corps presents?
Yeah, it was important last week, and it's important this week. And I'm probably going to say it's important every week, because your plan has to, they have to work in conjunction, all levels of your defense, and they're just presenting a different problem set this week.
Who's playing the role of Jalen Hurts and scout team this week?
We got a variety of guys. Sometimes you just have your regular quarterback in there. Sometimes you'll put a receiver in there to we've had a couple guys to just run around and let us feel the speed of what it would be like to deal with a player with that athleticism.
You just have to get used to the different surface, because we're going to be playing on grass versus, field turf, what we played on last week. So just making sure that our footing is right. Philadelphia, they always do a good job of taking care of their field, so really never had any real issues there. So not really worried about that. So it's going to be exciting to be back on grass, because it definitely is softer than the AstroTurf.
What stands out about Jalen Hurts when you watch him on the film?
He's a guy that he's a very exciting player. He does a really good job of extending plays with his legs, finding his receivers downfield. Doesn't really mind giving those guys an opportunity for those 50-50 balls. He does a really good job of moving out of the pocket. They have a really good job of implementing him into the game plan with the read options, moving him around a little bit with his legs, and also having design runs with his legs as well. So he's another element that we have to account for while preparing for this offense.
I feel like the biggest challenge A.J. Brown poses is
A.J. Brown is a very big physical receiver that doesn't mind contact, very good after the catch. He's a receiver that you definitely have to be on your P's and Q's every single down. He's a guy that can take it the distance any given time when the ball is in his hand. As you can see last week, making his new team debut, 10 catches on like 13 targets, 150 plus yards. So we know we have our work cut out for ourselves this week. These are some real dudes that they have on the outside. So we have to make sure that we don't eliminate those big plays, get off the field on third downs, and be very, very stout in the red zone. So those key points there, I believe if we're able to do that at a high level, they give us a good opportunity coming out on top.
You mentioned all the things Jalen can do. Like, how much does that change a week's preparation when a guy is a dual threat?
For the most part, what changes is lane rush lanes are very important. Plastering your coverage is very important because, like I said earlier, he's a guy that does a really good job of extending plays and looking for his receivers downfield. I mean, I can go on and on about how many plays he made just off last year, and looking at the Detroit game last week, what he was able to do in a couple key third downs, key third and long situations. So he's a guy that's preparing for a team like this. It keeps you up at night, because you have to account for that extra element in that offense is that dual threat quarterback option. So, but I think we have a really good game plan. Coach Ed, he's seen this scheme before. Played against him last year. I can't remember what the score was when Denver ended up playing the Eagles last year, but he has he's familiar with the scheme, so he's seen it before. It's not like he, not had the opportunity to game plan against this scheme before. So I believe we're in really good hands now. It's up to the players to go out there and execute the game plan.
Ed was saying you guys had some receivers playing the Jalen Hurts role. Who are some of the people that are kind of trying to be him this week in practice?
They had Tristan playing Jalen this week.
Is mobile, but when you look at that Lions game, him scrambling as much as he did, was that a product of him looking to run, or is it that they blitzed him so much that it seemed that he was getting forced out?
Yeah, I think it was blitzing him a ton. A lot of cover zero blitzes. Tedder playing a lot of fire zones against him, trying to get him off his first read. And I think with those guys dialing up the pressure and making that first look for him cloudy. His second option was to take off, and sometimes it is, not even to take off to run. It's taking off looking for the third and fourth, and maybe even the fifth option. So that's where the plastering to your coverage comes a big part into when he does get out of the pocket, because you don't want to make a broken down play turn into a touchdown. So it's a different game. It's a different game that you have to prepare for, because traditional quarterbacks, you don't have to worry about scramble drills and quarterback option, read options, quarterback design runs. But like I said, I think we have a really good game plan in place. Now it's up to us to go out there and execute the game plan.
You mentioned that he likes to throw up some 50-50 balls. Is that, over the years, has that become kind of more difficult to try and contest as contact rules have changed?
Yeah, no doubt about it, because for the most part, when we are in that plastering or that scramble drill phase, 9 times out of 10, our back is against the quarterback. So the receiver is taught to come back to the quarterback if it's not there, break up field, and most of those passes are underthrown. But as a DB, we can't see that, and we end up running into the receiver. The rest is history after that. But for the most part, as a defensive back, we just have to have an internal clock in our head and understanding how to read the receiver's hands, his eyes, and giving us an indication that the ball is, on its way to a certain guy. So it's tough being a DB in this league.
How does the operation change in an atmosphere like Philly?
Yeah, it definitely is going to be different, than playing at home. It was kind of nice to play at home that first week, just from a communication standpoint. This offense, there's a lot of communication that happens, so it's definitely going to change. And it's good to have that practice that you kind of almost feel that intensity when they throw the sound on and in practice, and give you that kind of real look of like, I can't hear anything. So it kind of gives you that, like, your heart's racing a little bit. You feel a little bit of like stress, I guess, and I think the more we can do that these next couple days to get that feel for the game will be good.
Is the communication like ingrained at this point, or how do you do some of the things you do pre-snap when you have to go silent?
Yeah, it's definitely not engraved yet because a new offense, and we haven't played in in a loud atmosphere yet. So it's definitely not engraved. So I think the more we can just practice it, make it tough on ourselves, have the sound even louder than maybe it'll be, just to make it tough on ourselves. And then, doing some stuff post-practice, doing some stuff pre-practice in the meeting rooms to really talk about how we're going to communicate certain things and some of the tempo stuff we're doing.
What do you do for an encore after that week one?
Celebrate it, of course, but it's a quick transition. Don't want to hold on to the old games for too long. Definitely move forward to Philly and started watching film on them.
Yeah, and I'll send it to the company. How much would it cost?
They have some great players on the defense for sure, but they have some things that we've seen that we can get them with. Definitely some schemes and some play calls that we feel will work against them, but we're not really sure too much of how they're going to play us. So I guess we'll see when we get there.
Cool is it to be on Monday Night Football? Everybody's watching around the country, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure. Those games that I live for. Those Monday nights, everybody's tuned in, everybody's watching. That's when I like to have the best game. To showcase the world that what I have, and my argument is being the best receiver.
Going to Philly, what kind of a reception do you expect to get, given all of the talk about the draft a couple of years ago?
Well, to speak it of it now, I'm excited for it. To go in Philly, heard about their fans, heard about their atmosphere and how their fans are. But I'm excited for it. Going into another place, away games. Those are the best wins when their stands are quiet, leaving the stadiums early. So I love these away games. I live for those type of moments, and I'm definitely excited for it for sure.